A new wave of deadly violence is gripping Afghanistan as U.S. troops withdraw from the war-torn country. Dozens of young schoolgirls were killed during a triple bombing over the weekend. No one has claimed responsibility, but the Taliban, ISIS, and al-Qaeda have launched similar attacks against women and schools across the region in recent years. Charlie D'Agata recently spoke to Afghanistan's national security advisor about government forces struggling to contain militants in local towns and on the battlefield.
Our front line is our mosques, they're our streets, they're our schools, they're our universities. Any place that the Taliban can attack is a front line for us now.
This all comes as American troops start leaving Afghanistan despite the recent surge in attacks. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says the U.S. will continue helping the Afghan government after all forces withdraw by September 11th.
We will continue to support them after we retrograde with funding, with over the horizon logistics. We will remain partners with the Afghan government, with the Afghan military, and certainly we hope through our continued support, the Afghan security forces can be effective. But you know, it's they have a pretty significant capability, but it's going to, you know, we expect that this will be a challenge for them.
So for more on this, let's bring in Adam Bates. He's the policy counsel for the International Assistance Project. Adam, thanks so much for joining us. Earlier today, I spoke to Charlie D'Agata, who's in Kabul, and he said, you know, despite the fact that American troops are not scheduled to fully leave until September 11th of this year, they've really pulled back on the day-to-day security operations, literally and figuratively sort of taking more of a bird's eye view of what's happening. And then we see this horrific bombing over the weekend of the school where, you know, the primary target were young girls. I'm wondering, you know, what should the role of U.S. troops be when it comes to protecting Afghan citizens? We can predict that this wave of violence will probably continue until the American troops withdraw completely.
Right. So, I mean, I think these attacks this weekend just highlight the need for the Biden administration and for Congress to be thinking of avenues to safety and ways to protect these vulnerable communities in Afghanistan, because the tools that exist right now, whether that's the special immigrant visa program for people who support the U.S. mission or the U.S. refugee program, these programs take a long time to process people, and they're not designed to move large numbers of people in a short time period. So given the instability in the country and the deteriorating security situation, it's really urgent that the Biden administration be thinking of much larger scale things, such as you know, full-scale evacuations of vulnerable Afghans in order to make sure that these people are protected as the U.S. withdraws.
So, Adam, as you know, the Biden administration says it will raise the annual refugee cap to 62,500 by the next fiscal year. What's your take on this, and how could it help Afghans trying to come to the United States?
Well, I think it's good that the Biden administration has now made good on its campaign promise to raise the refugee cap from its historic low. But as I mentioned, the refugee program is not really built to move large numbers of people in short order, and 62,500 is the number for the entire world. So the number for Asia, for the Middle East, is much lower than that 62,500. And there's currently no in-country refugee processing in Afghanistan. So, and I think it will be even more difficult to do that in the future. So again, it's great that that number has gone up. The refugee program is really important. But again, that is not a short-term solution to these thousands of Afghans who are going to be vulnerable and targeted by anti-U.S. militias after the withdrawal.
What about neighboring countries? I mean, what role should they be playing in order, if it's a role to give refuge to people who are trying to flee violence, what should they be doing?
Sure. So I think, I mean, over the 20 years of this war in Afghanistan, neighboring countries have played a role. Afghanistan is the #3 producer of refugees. There are something like 2.7 million Afghans who are currently living in surrounding countries, having fled Afghanistan. But these countries aren't in Afghanistan necessarily. They may have some capacity and some capability, but they don't have anywhere near the capability or capacity of the United States. And some would say they don't have the same moral obligation to protect Afghans as the United States does, considering this is our intervention in Afghanistan, and we've had 20 years to prepare for this day.
Should there be a focus, Adam, on directly helping Afghanistan's ethnic minorities who are frequently targeted in these terrorist attacks, much like the school attack from the weekend?
I think so, and I think again, this speaks to the necessity for the U.S. to have a broader conception of who it's protecting in Afghanistan. So ethnic minorities, religious minorities, these groups could be vulnerable after the U.S. withdraws, even more vulnerable than they are now. We don't want to be relying on the Taliban to protect these communities. But again, the SIV program, that special immigrant visa program, the U.S. refugee program, these programs are not really equipped for that. So yes, I think the U.S. should make it a priority to protect all vulnerable Afghans, including Afghans who are part of ethnic minorities who will be targeted after the U.S. withdraws. And that's why it's so important that the Biden administration start prioritizing this right now before we withdraw.
So what does the International Refugee Assistance Project want Congress to do? What would Congress's role be here?
So Congress can do some things. They could loosen the criteria for the special immigrant visa program, which right now has very strict criteria and requirements of how long you must have been employed by or on behalf of the U.S. They could expand the categories of family members who qualify under the special immigrant visa program. They could make sure that the U.S. refugee program has adequate funding and support for resettlement benefits. But really, I think the most important thing for Congress to do is to pressure the Biden administration to take urgent action to protect a large number of Afghans and get them out of harm's way, because the administration has the ability to do these things. It's not a lack of authority on the part of the U.S. administration. It's a question of whether they have the political will to do the right thing.
Adam Bates, it's a fascinating discussion. Thank you so much for joining us with it.
Thank you.